Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's break down and understand how to defeat 8.3 Boss Cerastes, who is incidentally an Ouroboros controlled variant of Iron Man. Now, a few things before you start the fight, we need to understand some key mechanics. First one is going to be Cerastes' suit is enhanced with alien technology that will grant him immunity to slow, neutralize, power drain, and power lock. Additionally, his ability accuracy cannot be modified. Also, once per fight, whenever the attacker will gain an indestructible or immortality effect, it will be removed and it will grant Cerastes instead an indestructible passive for 6 seconds. So champions like Hela, Punisher and Hercules will not have their immortality. Do your best to get down your muscle memory of not performing the same action twice. You will be punished really heavily in the later phases, especially when the overcharge mechanic comes into play. Cerastes' suit is constantly overflowing with energy, increasing the attacker's spirit gain rate by 350%. Now, speaking of spirit gain, you will require strikers for this fight. The number of hits it will take for your spirit meter to fill will depend on the rarity of your relic. A 3-star relic will take 12 hits, a 4-star relic will take 10 hits, a 5-star relic will take 8 hits, and the 6-star relic will take the least only 6 hits to fill up. So naturally, it's advisable to use a 6-star relic for easy spirit meter access and a good flow of this boss fight. Now, the main mechanic of this fight revolves around the corrupted armor variants. Cerastes has 3 variants of corrupted armor: leg armor, shield armor, and spirit armor. Each of these reduce incoming damage from all sources by 30%, totaling up to 90% reduction. Each of these armors, they have a max limit of 300 stacks. So every time you perform a specific action, the respective armor is damaged by 100 stacks. So if you use a striker, the spirit armor is damaged by 100 stacks. If you knock down Cerastes, the leg armor is going to be damaged by 100 stacks. And if you hit in a block, the shield armor is going to be damaged by 100 stacks. You can increase this damage per hit by using a champion that has a lot more unique buffs. So for every unique buff, there is 5 stacks of extra damage on the opponent. So if you use somebody like a Hercules or somebody like an Angela or Gore, or if you can just bring in Odin pre-fight, that will really help you. Once any of the corrupted armor is reduced to 0, it is broken for 12 seconds, and this broken duration can be increased to 18 if you have more armor breaks or damaging debuffs. Now, the focus here is when you get one armor to break, you have to get the other to break also within the same cooldown. If you don't, the first armor is restored to full at 300 stacks and you have to go back at it again. So the main mechanic is to have all of the 3 armors broken, and when you have all of 3 armors broken, Cerastes is passively stunned for 16 seconds and wounded. Cerastes does not gain power for being struck, and when this stun expires, Cerastes will regain all of his armors with 300 stacks each, and you go back at it again. The challenge of this fight lies in taking down Cerastes by breaking all 3 corrupted armor variants at the same time. Try to damage the armors equally and keep the stacks similar, so they all break simultaneously. So you have to be really present in the fight and keep an eye on the stack numbers. A challenging feature of this fight is not to repeat your actions twice to avoid punishment in the later phases of this fight. Depending on what phase you are of the battle, Cerastes can overcharge his corrupted armors, triggering deadly abilities and regaining maximum amount of armor back to 300. He can gain unstoppable, unblockable, and plenty more. Now, there are 2 rotations that work really well for this fight. First rotation is to focus only on 2 actions at a time. Use a striker to break the spirit armor by 100 stacks, and then use knockdown to break the leg armor with another 100 stacks. Once both the spirit and leg armor are broken, you can rinse and repeat that and bring them both down to 0 in broken state. When both of them will be broken, they'll be locked out and you can just throw a 5-hit combo in the block for Cerastes to break down the shield armor, as it will not auto block because there is no armor that is available. Once you have all three of them down to 0, you will push Cerastes into a wounded state and you can go in and start attacking. Now rotation number 2 is a lot more balanced. That is my favorite rotation, but I would say that the easier one is rotation number 1. So for rotation number 2, use a striker at the end of your 5-hit combo. That will damage the spirit armor by 100 stacks. And then straight away go into a knockdown while he's passively stunned. That will break the leg armor by 100 stacks. And then bait out an SP1. And once he throws his SP1 out, you can charge in and hit him once in the block. And that will break the shield armor by 100 stacks. Now you can do this rotation over and over again, and you will be able to keep all the armors to an equal length, to an equal stacks, and you will be able to break all together by pushing all of them to 0 and pushing Cerastes into a wounded state. So both of these rotations, as I've shown you, work. So let's jump into the fight and see in real time how they look like. Starting off with phase 1 initializing, 100% HP to 91% HP. Cerastes starts with max armor stacks for all 3 variants at 300 each. Our goal is to bring all 3 armors down to 0 at one time to push Cerastes into a wounded state. Use your cosmic champions with unique buffs along with 5 or 6 star relics. I'm using rotation 2, that is to use striker first, knockdown second during the passive stun, and then bait SP1 and hit once in block. Once all of the 3 armors are broken, Cerastes will go into a wounded state, open to damage, and push to phase 2. On an important note, always bait SP1, and at the end of a phase, Cerastes will go into an overdrive mode and does not take any damage. You have to intercept Cerastes to trigger the next phase. Phase 2 is Directive Found. 90% HP to 51% HP. This is the longest phase. And it's very similar to phase 1 with 2 changes. At the start of this phase, Cerastes sets all of his corrupted armor variants to 225 stacks each. And for the duration of this phase, if you attempt to break the same corrupted armor twice, Cerastes immediately repairs 100% of that corrupted armor. You can still use the same rotation. So rotation 1 is to focus on striker and knockdown first to break the spirit and the leg armor. When both are broken, you can use a 5-hit combo in the block to remove the third armor variant, the shield armor. And rotation 2 is more of a balanced approach that I really like, is to focus on all 3 together. You use a striker first to reduce the spirit armor, then knock down Cerastes at the end of the striker's passive stun to reduce the leg armor, and then you bait an SP1, and finally you hit once in Cerastes' block to reduce the shield armor by 100. This will help you keep all the 3 armor stacks in the same ratio, and it will be much easier to bring all of them together down to 0 and push Cerastes into a wounded state and open to damage. Now I know the fight is looking much more simpler in the video, but you have to make that muscle memory, or you have to make like a sequence that you want to follow so you don't repeat the same armor break twice. Right now I am using rotation number 2 as I've mentioned, passive stun, knockdown, and bait SP1, hit and block once, and that's it. I have broken 2 armors. I'm going to use the spirit relic here, and now all 3 are broken and he is wounded. So you just have to be careful about that. It takes a little practice, but you can, if you can get that down, that is the whole challenge of the fight. Now once he's in overdrive mode, I just have to do an intercept, and then I can push him to a phase 3. Just trying to get an intercept here. And there we have it. Phase 3, analysis complete, 50% HP to 6% HP. You will notice right away that Cerastes will go stun immune. So at the start of this phase, Cerastes sets each of his corrupted armor variants to a random stack between 50 to 250. Now this will really test your ability to adjust on the fly and focus only on the armor that has higher stacks. So if the spirit armor is more, you have to use more of your relic. If the leg armor is more, you have to use more of knockdown. So you have to really be careful that which one you are going to attack first, because if you attack same armor twice, he will go into an overdrive and he will also knock you back. Whenever the armor is broken, at the end of his cooldown, it is again set up to a random stack between 50 or 250. Now for the duration of this phase, if the attacker is going to damage a corrupted armor that has been locked, Cerastes will trigger its respective overcharge. Now some quick tips here are the main way to break all 3 corrupted armor variants at the same time. You have to keep the values similar, and I would say use the second rotation. If you are struggling to manage all of the different corrupted armor variants, try to do in a one specific order to prevent repeating the same action. Special 2 is very difficult to dodge, so try dodging the first hit and parrying the rest, or just better bait SP1s. If you are struggling to land the final blow on Cerastes' armor, remember you can use an Odin to grant yourself some buffs, and you can do some increased damage to corrupted armor. Final phase is phase 4 AM CERASTES, 5% to 1% health. All you need to do is to stay away from him. He will be in a constant overcharge mode. Try to start the phase on his side of the screen and he will lose 4% of his max health over 16 seconds. Just dance around. When he goes down to 1% health, he will be in meltdown. All you need to do is to hit him in his block with light attacks and he will do a surge of 1,000,000 damage and you will take him out. So I hope this helps you guys and you find this useful. Please remember this footage is from the beta version, but 99% of the mechanics are the same. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.